टोटल रीडेवलपमेंट एंड पीएमसी रूल। हमारे राइट साइड में बैठे हुए हैं मिस्टर पार्थ सारथी जो मिसवा से कनेक्टेड है। वो रोल ऑफ रीडेवलपमेंट के ऊपर आपको पूरी तरह से जानकारी देंगे। और मेरे लेफ्ट साइड में जो बैठे हैं हिमेश गुप्ता जी जो पिछले सेशन में भी थे, बहुत अच्छी तरह से उन्होंने जानकारी दी थी। और उनके बाजू में बैठे हुए किशोर रेडकर जी जो पीएमसी के बारे में हमको बताएंगे। पार्थ सारथी जी, रीडेवलपमेंट इशू ये बहुत ही एक हॉट टॉपिक बना हुआ है। लोग डरते भी हैं कि हम रीडेवलपमेंट में जाएं या ना जाएं। तो लोगों को जब तक ये कंसेप्ट, और जैसे हमने ये 2 दिन के सेशन में देखा है कि हम घर से बाहर निकले और अंदर आए कि नहीं आए, ये भी हमें कोई उम्मीद नहीं होती है। तो ये रीडेवलपमेंट प्रोसेस पूरी तरह किस तरह सक्सेसफुल हो, तो अगर आप उसके ऊपर थोड़ा सा हाईलाइट करोगे तो ठीक रहेगा।
Yeah, good evening everybody. My name is Partha Sarathy. I represent Maharashtra Societies Welfare Association, the capacity of the Vice President there. Our association is represented by C.A. Ramesh Prabhu, who is the chairperson. Probably most of you here would have heard his name at least once, because he is one of the key person who has been involved in the society matters, the cooperative society matters since last more than a couple of decades now, more than 20-25 years now. So coming back to this particular session, the main crux, the point which everybody, as Mrs. Sunita was just mentioning, that most of the people have heard about the terminology, what is called as, what is meant by, or what is redevelopment. But actually, many of them may not know what are the intricacies, what actually goes into it, and where to start from. What is the starting point? Whether a particular building needs redevelopment, or whether we are forcefully arriving at a decision of going in for redevelopment, and all those things. There is a huge difference between the thought process, the actual terminology for that matter, and what goes into the process of redevelopment. I am quite sure that the gentleman here sitting on my left, Mr. Himesh Gupta, who would probably second my point that redevelopment actually, I think he would have covered the other points in the morning session. And basically the technical part, the planning and the architectural part, probably he will be the right person to guide you on that. And the role, because once a redevelopment term is, has come into existence, there is another synonymous term. I would call this as a synonymous term, because it is linked to redevelopment, is the role of a project management consultant. So Mr. Redkar is a very well-known PMC in Mumbai. So he will actually, I think, cover most of the aspects related to PMC. But as a lay person, let me talk about a person of a housing society. Let me consider myself as a member of a housing society, and try to highlight some points which basically we need to take care before actually going into the process of redevelopment. Primarily, there is a misconception that most of the buildings, if they cross a lifespan of about more than 30-35 years, it has to be redeveloped. There is no compulsion as such. It's not written anywhere in any of the acts or rules or any of the other regulations that any building which has crossed the 30-year lifespan has to be redeveloped. No, there are buildings, you must be aware of the fact that there are buildings in Mumbai which are more than about 60-70 years old, and they're still in a very good shape. So that we have to actually remove that psychology that if a building is old, it needs to be redeveloped. Now, redevelopment on the other part of it, the second side of the coin, I would say, is that redevelopment will not, the situation of the building, the situation of the structure, I would say, will not determine whether the building has to be redeveloped. I think Himesh should be throwing in some light on that, because there are other aspects besides the structural strength or the weakness of that particular building, which probably many of the people may consider before the particular building going in for redevelopment. Basically, if I could mention a few, like you may be having the new building, if it is constructed, if the old building is demolished and a new structure comes up, then probably the amenities which are attached to that particular building, like for example the lifts, because predominantly what happens is if any building which has crossed about 30-35 years, it is a well accepted fact that the people, the members staying in those societies would have crossed more than 60. Probably they are into their they become senior citizens now. So they wouldn't have seen such a type of facilities and amenities which they could have got, but they are not able to make use of any of those facilities because they don't have it now in their societies. So this could be one of the reasons why probably some of the societies, even with the structure being good, want to going for redevelopment. So this can be one of the reasons. So similarly, now you all must be maybe knowing that after the coming in of the DP, the DCR rules which are coming now, the FSI which is available, the floor space index, the constructible area which is available on a particular plot is now directly linked to the road width which is there in on the front side of the society or the structure. So many of the societies, which I'm not saying whether that is right or wrong, but the decision making has now this is also I could say catalyzed. It has become a catalyst to the decision making process for a society, wherein if they think that मेरा घर के सामने वाला रोड का विड्थ ज्यादा है तो मुझे ज्यादा FSI मिलने वाला है तो ठीक है हम लोग वापस उसको बनाते हैं, मुझे ज्यादा मिलेगा उसमें मतलब प्रॉफिट मुझे हो सकता है, या फिर बिल्डर से अगर मुझे रीडेवलप करके आना है तो मेरे को उसमें I could get if the earlier the builder was offering 25 to 30%, now probably I could get more than 50%. So these are some of the aspects which are now actually determining whether a particular society should go for redevelopment. And moreover, if you are talking about redevelopment, I cannot miss on the point that there is also another parallel terminology which is actually called as self-redevelopment, which most of the societies are now encouraged to go because of the various facilities and got a lot of finance options available from a couple of banks and other places. So what I prefer or what I would like to have is that let Himesh tell the other technical aspects of it, then I will again come back as a normal society member and let me see what more light I can throw on that particular aspect. Himesh.
Yeah, good evening. Hello, good evening all. As all are aware, like the DCPR 2030 was already in place, which allows us for redevelopment. In that they have considered that the age of the building it should be 30 years. First, they consider first Jan of the particular year to determine the age of the building. So for 2019 if you coming, so they will see that 30 years it is, and then you can go for that benefit. 33(7)(b) it is. The regulations are meant for redevelopment. Actually, it is giving the FSI benefit and everything is there, but we as a society we should understand whether it is required or not. Why are we going for it? If it is a good building, obviously there are many good buildings which doesn't require actually the redevelopment. But then we need to see other points also. Some people, like some in our study group, we have come across some people when they found that the design which they are staying it was faulty. There was no parking space, and the building has the building is already now 35-40 years old age. There is no lift provision. So these people these things, and then they feel now the redevelopment should be there. And if this is the cause, then yes, one should go for the redevelopment things.
Mr. Redkar, PMC role is very important in the redevelopment or even in the self-redevelopment. So can you just highlight exactly what is PMC?
Yeah. Thank you, Godupala Madam. PMC role is very important because in last several years, what we think is all societies, the wrong assumption is redevelopment means builder. Whenever we talk about redevelopment, we go to builder, we call 2-3 builders, whatever they say, whatever they offer, we negotiate. If they offer 20%, we ask for 25%. If they offer 30%, we ask for 35%. This is the way things are happening. And then lot of chaos, lot of projects are not happening, projects are not going ahead because there was no real figures, there was no realistic parameters for negotiation. So in 2009, government came up with a notification which is called 79A notification, which says that project management consultant is very compulsory, not essential, compulsory for any redevelopment procedure. Whenever you say redevelopment, you have to first appoint project management consultant. And project management consultant that team should include architects and advocate, like legal consultant at least. So 2 experts are needed. You can consume. And from there, how much area is left, that is your profit. And out of that profit, how can you distribute? Like how can extra area you can take, how much rent you will get, and how much corpus fund you will get. That all, and how much project cost you have to spend. Again, in project cost, there are 2-3 things. One is construction cost, second is approval permission cost, and third is all other costs like rent, corpus fund and everything. So there are the 3 things are very clear when you appoint PMC. PMC gives you all the real figures of all these things. Basis of all these figures, basis of that study report, you can negotiate with developer. So it is very important. PMC's role starts with, it is a first and primary step in redevelopment that you have to appoint PMC.
मिस्टर रेडकर, मुझे एक बात पूछनी है कि ये पीएमसी किसका होता है? अगर ये जो सोसाइटी डेवलप होती है वो पीएमसी सिलेक्ट करे, ये आर्किटेक्ट का बनता होता है?
See, PMC architect is part of PMC. It is not like PMC is different and architect is different. It's not like that. PMC में minimum architect तो होना ही चाहिए. Without architect, PMC cannot work. So PMC takes care of all the stages of redevelopment. Out of that, first stage is study report or feasibility report. After that, all the tender part and then appointing the builder. So madam's question is, from whose side PMC should be? Of course, PMC should be always from society side. Society will appoint PMC. PMC will work for society throughout the redevelopment project. And architect and legal consultant will be part of PMC.
अगर हम रीडेवलपमेंट में जा रहे हैं या सेल्फ रिडेवलपमेंट में, शुरू में फिजिबिलिटी रिपोर्ट बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रोल करता है. तो अगर हम सेल्फ में जाते हैं तो ये फिजिबिलिटी कभी कैसे होता है, ये एक्सपीरियंस हम ले रहे हैं कि सोसाइटी कहती है कि भैया अगर हम सेल्फ रिडेवलपमेंट जा रहे हैं, फिजिबिलिटी रिपोर्ट, तो इसका खर्चा कौन करेगा. तो दोनों पार्ट में ये इंपॉर्टेंट होता है. अगर हम रीडेवलपमेंट में जाते हैं तो बिल्डर कर देता है या जो कोई आर्किटेक्ट है वो कर देता है. तो ये दोनों में डिफरेंस मैं पार्थसारथी जी को और रेडकर जी को पूछती हूँ कि ये डिफरेंस कैसे किया जाए इसको.
देखिए, एक्चुअली बिफोर गोइंग इनटू द अपॉइंटमेंट ऑफ द पीएमसी, we should always understand as a member of a society. I am actually talking on behalf of the member of, I am considering myself as a member of the society, and then I'll just give you my viewpoints. Before even starting of this redevelopment process, it may be both redevelopment through a builder or through self-redevelopment. Basically, the society first needs to understand that this process has to be initiated first. How do you initiate this process? As Mr. Redkar mentioned, there is a circular dated 3rd January 2009, which was issued by the government of Maharashtra Textiles and cooperative department, which is generally called as the 79A, circulars of 79A. Okay. Now, what does this circular actually suggest? Some people consider this circular to be a compulsorily to be followed procedure, but it is not so. Some of the people or some of the members internally feel that committee agar follow nahi karti hai, to redevelopment process आगे बढ़ नहीं सकता है. It's a wrong notion. People first of all should throw away that thinking and get inclusive, rather I should say, with the other committee members and the other members of the society. First of all, this is a suggestive circular, wherein what it says is, starting from the 20% of the people applying for redevelopment, or out of the total members of the society, 20% of the members should actually write to the committee asking that we need redevelopment. This is the first process which is required. This is the first stage of the redevelopment process. So after getting the requisition from 20% members of the society, then the committee of that particular society will have a committee meeting, call for a special general body, and this special general body, basically all special general bodies need a minimum circular or notice of 5 days, but this particular general body will need a notice period of at least minimum 15 days. So by giving a 15-day notice, the special general body is called for, and with this special general body, we'll have 3 agendas in that. There will be 3 agendas which will be specified in this notice as well. Starting from the first agenda would be whether the society needs redevelopment or whether we should go in for repairs, major repairs or repairs, whatever it may be the case. So this will be the first agenda of that particular notice or for that particular meeting. The second agenda would be, if the first agenda is been adopted or the resolution is passed for the first agenda, then the second agenda is that the appointment of the PMC, which Mr. Redkar was mentioning. So the second agenda would be appointing the PMC for the redevelopment. And after the second agenda, the third agenda would be appointing a builder. The process ahead, what would the PMC and the society do together, come together, and how a builder is going to be appointed. So these are the 3 points. I think Advocate Vinod Sampath has arrived. So let us welcome Mr. Vinod Sampath. So sir, please join us on the stage. So as I was mentioning, so you have to go systematically in this process, wherein once the meeting is called, and moreover what it is said is that it has to be 70, I think I'll now hand over the mic to Mr. Vinod so that he can throw some more light on this particular. Actually, I was talking about 79A, so aap thoda bata dijiye, sir. He's a better person actually to guide.
Good evening, friends. Learning is a continuous process. One thing that is common for all of us, be it rich, poor, young, old, is time. And if we utilize our time, we can gain a lot of knowledge. Friends, let me tell you, having spent decades in the cooperative field, I feel that the field of cooperation is successful for the simple reason that there is no substitute to it. There is nothing much big whereby we feel proud of. To begin with, we were talking of 79A. In my personal opinion, that is not worth the paper on which it is printed, the circular. It's nothing but a speed money department of the cooperative department, is the feeling which I gather having spent decades. Have you ever seen registrar interfering with redevelopment after having granted the permission? Has he ever come to the society, talked with the builder to find out what is the progress as regards redevelopment? Basically, the trust of the common man is in the representative of the government. And in government, like the word kal, which stands for yesterday and tomorrow, what happens is the day that particular speed money or something is given, they very conveniently overlook the things, is my personal view. I fail to understand what is the need for the cooperative department to issue that particular guidelines. Your intention is good. You want to see that the flat purchasers are protected. The society is protected. The department should come out with specific solutions. Let me know, even if 5% of the cooperative societies have ever followed the guidelines. The builder is supposed to give corpus. There has to be a rule how the allotment of the flats has to be done. Unfortunately, literally there is no control of the department. It is common knowledge that many times office bearers are acting as estate agents or PRO of the builders. Builders have one good qualification cutting across the barriers of language is the only qualification required for a builder is sweet tongue and a smiling face. Friends, I will personally request you, don't trust your secretary. Believe me, my humble advice to all of you is don't trust your committee. If you want your redevelopment to be successful, I am sharing with you one mantra. You don't require expert knowledge. Only insist for one condition. That is 10% of the property builder should be able to sell only after receipt of building completion certificate. No if, buts, anything to be listened of anyone, including the office bearers. The agreement has to be watertight agreement, and our friend Advocate K.R. Belose, who has looked at the problem from both ways, from the government angle also and from the angle of the common man. Please consult such persons. You have to be very blunt when you are talking with the builder. When you are talking with the builder, don't even trust your committee. Have specific one or two clauses. I am not going into much of the things. One clause is all expenses directly and or indirectly related to redevelopment, including payment of income tax, GST, whatever if applicable, everything and anything has got to be paid by the builder. Bluntly tell the builder that my pocket is only a one-way traffic, nothing is going to come out from that, I'm only going to take. Second thing, have an exit clause in the agreement. That, say today we are on 15th of December 2018. 15th of December 2021, I should get possession of my flat. Otherwise, lock, stock and barrel, you will be replaced by XYZ. Don't trust the sweet words and the smiling face. Sad it may seem, 1947, we had our independence. 1963, we had MOFA Act. And today, after so many decades, nothing concrete is moving in the real estate. 10% of the properties in Bombay hardly have the building completion certificate. To be precise, 7.9%. The law stipulates that the builder has to maintain certain registers like Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, Form 4. I have no hesitation in saying that not even 5% of the agreements being executed by the builder are as per the laws of the land. In this particular game, rather than government acting as a deterrent and controlling it, sadly, government is learning certain things from the builders and they are implementing those things which are not in good taste, in my view. Maharashtra Ownership Flats Act stipulates that one has to write the carpet area of the flat. And what is our stamp duty department doing? They recover stamp duty on built-up area. You will be shocked to know that built-up area cannot be generalized by anyone in the world. If I am a builder, I am building A, and I as a builder am building B, another building, then the built-up area and carpet area ratio will vary from building A to building B. You cannot generalize carpet area to 20% built-up area. It is nothing but foolishness in my view. Similarly, the Bombay Municipal Corporation, humorously, we feel tempted to call BMC as bachelors and masters of corruption. Bombay Municipal Corporation also recovers taxes on the basis of built-up area. In fact, let me share with you, our ex-CM used to constantly say, standing committee is an understanding committee for the betterment of the corporation. Whether he meant betterment of the corporation or betterment of the corporators, that he will be able to explain in a better manner. But the point is, how come in the western suburbs more than 50% of the files of building proposal department are getting lost? You look at JVPD. JVPD, plot owner is one. Lease is given for the plot. And you know, friends, our cooperative department says that 1 rupee was the transfer fee. Transfer was a contract between the outgoing member and the incoming member. And to have the involvement of the cooperative society, a token charge of ₹1 was charged. This, with the passage of time, is increased to 500 rupees today. And under the head share premium account, the maximum amount that can be taken is ₹25,000 towards share premium. You look at the rich societies in Pedder Road, Nariman Point, Cuff Parade, JVPD. In JVPD, practically every society, plot owner society, they have somehow got their bylaws amended, whereby they are entitled to recover transfer charges at 50% of the unearned income. Let me illustrate 1 or 2 practical examples. In the earlier years, in 60s, when the Bombay MCS Act came and this particular concept of plot owners was there at JVPD, at that point of time, property prices were very much less. When the plots were acquired, the bylaws stipulated that whatever is the unearned income, 50% society can charge. It so happened that prices started skyrocketing. And the bylaws have been passed by the department, whereby supposing I am purchasing a property for 5,000 and I am selling for 2 lakhs, then 2 lakh minus 5,000, whatever difference is coming, about 98,000 I am eligible. Basically, it is totally a wrong concept in my personal opinion. But these things are finding place in the bylaws. Now, as a cooperative department, there had to be uniformity. Instead of talking big things, the department employees visiting the society, getting information, spending time, a simple thing can be incorporated in the audit form itself, that whatever things are required to be reported should be incorporated in the form so that ready-made information is available. Sad part is, department knows that lakhs of rupees are charged at the time of transfer. Department knows that car parking cannot be sold. Department knows that there is a shortage of parking space. I fail to understand what is the need of allotting car parking to a particular member if we have a society, a big society with say 100 car parking. The probability is on an average, not even 80 cars will be parked. If a society has a simple rule, everyone will be allotted 1 parking if you have got a vehicle. And you can bring your vehicle first come, first serve. This will result in a lot of transparency. You will not have it as your ownership or a personal right. Legally speaking, as a flat purchaser, when you purchase a flat, you are paying money not just for the 4 corners of the flat, but you are paying certain amount for the undivided right, title and interest in the common areas and amenities appurtenant to the premises. Belose will agree with me that in the open space, be it open parking, stilt parking, every flat purchaser has got a right. But today what we see, a corporate is purchasing something, he is given 20 parkings. I may share that the Sessions Court had initiated criminal proceedings against reputed industrialist Adi Godrej, and they had to move the High Court to get a stay on that thing. Because parking was sold, these proceedings were initiated. And if you come across any agreement whereby some 1 rupee is also taken for parking, straightway you can prosecute it. Going further down the line, laws being broken, you will find practically in every society. 107B of the Maharashtra Cooperative Society Rules 1961 stipulates that the persons handling finance of the society are duty bound to give security to the society. Show me one person in this house present. Let them say that my society's office bearers have given security to the society because I am handling cash of the society. In my career, spreading over more than almost 4 decades, I have not come across societies offering such security, the persons of the society. What is the need of such scrap law? Let me illustrate another example. I am told, rightly or wrongly, I don't know. There was one politician who happened to be the agricultural minister of the cabinet. He was more concerned for the sugar lobby. All of a sudden, it was found that the government had appointed an administrator on one of the banks, district central cooperative banks. And what is happening in many of the lobbies, I am told, rightly, wrongly, I don't know, cost of a particular machinery or launching is, say, 50 crores. One can easily manipulate it and get the bill of 200 crores. On that, substantial loan is taken. So even before the project goes on a takeoff stage, loan is taken to such an extent that the owners don't have to worry. And if at all that project makes a profit, the money may come back. And government is standing guarantors to some of these things. What happened is bulk of the funds of the hard-earned funds of the cooperative housing societies have been invested in banks, and bulk of them have become NPA in the cooperative sector itself. Sugar mills are classic examples. Industries are classic examples. The hard-earned money of cooperative housing societies are diverted there, and we are suffering. Going one step forward, now I fail to understand what was the big fuss of making election a constitutional amendment. It was nothing, in my view, but to please the voters and a political gimmick. Now, because it is an election being a constitutional amendment, one separate authority is appointed. That means one more table, in a simple businessman's language. Now, that table, that officer comes, and I am told that some of the officers say, "Gaadi bhejo, election officer aa raha hai, elections karwane ke liye." If there is a society of 100 members, election officer comes. After coming, he complies with the procedure. And finally, some payment is made to him. And then the elections is conducted. Presuming this very thing is done by one of the members of the society who has not contested. What's wrong? If the department is so serious, they can declare that any member of the society who wishes to act as an election officer, we will support him, we will guide him. Then also the confidence level of the members will increase because there is a comfort level with your own member and compared to that of a stranger. Now, an election officer coming from outside, the quantum of cost being incurred, if you look at this thing from one society, you may find that 5,000 hai, 10,000 hai, 15,000 hai. Kya farak girta hai 15,000 rupees mein? But look at the magnitude. There are 50,000 cooperative housing societies in Maharashtra. And Maharashtra is just one of the states in India. So 50,000 multiplied by number of states. And this is a 24/7 expenses, recurring permanent sort of thing. And after spending all this money, what are you getting? A big zero. Not to mention the fact that more politics gets involved into all these things. I try to manage something. law is meant for man. Man is not meant for law. And unfortunately, simplicity is totally lacking in a bureaucracy. Now, as a cooperative society or as any different department, why should I have to go to the registrar's office? We all know what that registrar's office is. There is no need to give any certificate for that thing. Why can't the department have one 24/7 helpline whereby you just raise a question and immediately one officer replies? Some of you must have gone through the website of Microsoft Office. They get queries all over the world, and immediately that assistant is there on computer. They say, how can I help you? You raise a question, you get a reply. What are the basic problems of a common man? Common man just wants minimum amount of amenities, and he is a law-abiding person. That's what I have learned over the years. And I squarely blame my legal community for complicating the avoidable issues. अपनी जीत में भी अपनी हार है और अपनी हार में भी अपनी जीत है. For example, how a problem can be sorted out. Let me give you an example. A person says, I will not pay the dues of the society. I get across these types of queries many times, and I tell my society, don't antagonize that person. If you are listening to me, give a bouquet or roses to this certain person. They get shocked. Why are you talking like this? And I explain to them my logic. Supposing that defaulter is a defaulter, looking at the capacity of that person, that default amount may be 25,000, 50,000, 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 5 lakh rupees. That is the saturation point of an average person. And what is the price of the flat? It is in crores. Now, you get money, you invest it in bank, and on that bank you earn 8% FD. And that bank can become a Chetna bank or Kapoor bank or some sort of bank. Here, 2 crores property, the asset of the member is literally mortgaged to you. He is paying you 21% interest. Why should we antagonize such person? On the contrary, tell that person, please make your friends also defaulters. We will be very happy. These type of radical thinkings, the moment you start speaking, the intensity of your opponent to fight automatically gets reduced. You look at registrars. I would say why registrars should not be arrogant and should not be tempted by speed money. One registrar hardly has a staff of about 6 to 7 people. And he is supposed to manage 1,500 societies. On top of it, there is political interference. And any person knowing the working of the government knows that the moment a thing comes as a LAQ, Legislative Assembly question, all things are forgotten and they have to attend to their political bosses. The quantum of pressure on these registrars itself is such that it is saying that the truth, one proverb was there, that if a lie is spoken 1,000 times, it becomes a truth. So that anything you can say on the registrar and directly or indirectly it can be applicable because some sort of mischief at some point of time they might have done. There is nothing wrong. Let me share with you my own examples. In one of my own matters, I was representing a particular group of peoples. They came to me. They told me, Sampath sir, you please help us form a society. So I inquired with them, what is your problem? He said, in one society A, we are 5 people. And there is a neighboring society B, where also we are 5 people, and we want to form a society. So I politely told them it is not possible to get this particular thing done. I am sorry, I cannot help you on this point. In a fortnight, those people came to me. Sampath sir, you advised us we can't form this society. And the registrar has given us a certificate that we are a separate cooperative housing society with building A 5 people, with building B 5 people. In short, anything under the moon is possible with this registrar is my personal view. Let me share a few more examples.
So we are discussing on the topic of PMC also. PMC, the role of PMC.
What is my time schedule? I'll complete it in that time.
That's true.
Let me go to that.
No, your topic is still pending. That is a conveyance and deep conveyance.
Give me the time schedule,
Yeah. So
how much time I should give?
No. We have a panel discussion, sir.
Okay, so should I complete in 5 minutes?
Yeah, you can complete.
No, you
or
don't
we,
need to complete
because we
there
have a
are other
panel.
topics to discuss.
Discuss.
Like
Panel
redevelopment and
discussion.
the other matters also.
Yeah.
So we'll give time to all those other topics as well.
Correct.
No problem. So shall I continue to conclude now?
Yes.
Thank you, friends, for hearing me patiently.
Next question.
Yeah.
एक point. Madam asked one question, whether, like, who will pay PMC for feasibility report? Normally, this is like people say that PMC gets money or his payment from developer. Then how PMC will be, why PMC will work for society? See, let me explain you very clearly. The project happens with partnership of society and developer. Society has plot. On that valuable plot, builder comes with 2 or 3 things. Out of that, one is finance. Builder comes with 3 things basically. One is finance. Second is capacity of approvals and permissions and construction capacity or knowledge. And third thing is selling capacity of extra area. So his role or his part is to bring finance. But the finance is a part of that project. And anybody like consultant, architect, advocate, or any consultant or any expert gets fees from that particular project. Only because finance is brought by builder, consultant gets his fees from that money. Otherwise, it is a part of project cost, and from there, the total project cost, profit is gained, and the profit is shared by two people like society and builder. So PMC is not paid by builder, PMC is paid by that particular project for which PMC works. Percentage wise. See, in redevelopment, there are 2 types of redevelopment you can say. One is redevelopment, that is builder-driven redevelopment. And second is self-redevelopment. So if you talk about builder-driven redevelopment, PMC's fees is normally ranges from 3% to 5% of construction cost. Total construction cost. You can consider construction cost is 3,000 or 3,500, and the total construction area is built-up area, not only carpet area. And when you talk about self-development, it ranges from 15 to 20% of total construction. Same, parameters are same. 15. Because in self-development, everything is done by PMC. His architects prepare the plans. His advocate take care of all the legal documentation and everything. Chartered accountants are, they work for cost management, taxes and everything. Then site supervisors or civil engineers, they monitor the project throughout the construction stage. Structural engineer is also the part of the team who designs structure strength for that particular project. So total project is planned, handled, executed and monitored by PMC. So his scope of work is much higher than builder-driven redevelopment.
One more thing which I would like to add here is even the finance part, most of the times, is taken care by the PMC in case of a self-redevelopment. In taken care in the sense, he's a person who is going to help you get the finance, because the finance probably you may get the 85% or whatever finance through a bank, but the other part of it, your part, the 15% or whatever, 10-15% which you need to invest, also he facilitates you with the finance, probably with some sort of an agreement between the society and the PMC. Okay, now coming back to the 79A, which we were discussing when Mr. Yeah.
To get the feasibility report in self-redevelopment, who will pay, society or because the question arises. So, sir.
Yeah. See, again the same question, but answer is same. Fees is the product, like it is from the profit of the project. Initially, society start paying the fees for, of course, for feasibility. Society has to pay the fees, but that can be the society can get back that fees from the total last project profit of the project.
Yeah. Now, what we were discussing earlier when Mr. Vinod entered, I would again like to put this question to Mr. Vinod again, that 79A circular, as we were discussing, I started off telling that it is not a compulsory or a mandatory thing, which I think he seconded what I told. But I would like to ask him the same question again. In case of redevelopment or in case of a self-redevelopment, what exactly are the points? If he could quote some 5 to 10 points, or rather 5 points, which are the main, what do you say? You can call as bullet points for consideration before the society goes in for redevelopment.
First on 79A, years ago, High Court has clarified in Harsha Cooperative Housing Society that permission is not required. Ease of doing business has also clarified, and Cooperative Department has also withdrawn that circular. But this thing is still implemented because of some reasons known. If you are going for redevelopment, first point that you should emphasize is the exit clause, right of termination. Second thing, arbitrator, if any, has to be a retired High Court judge, and cost of arbitration will exclusively have to be borne by the builder. That also in advance substantial amounts to be taken. Third point, you always talk in terms of area, and area is not length into breadth. Area is length into breadth into height. Now your flat may have 11 feet height. And when you are offered a flat in redevelopment, builders even take into consideration the floor to floor and the slab to slab, that half inch also they calculate. So you have to be very specific on the height aspect, because this will be your lasting benefit. Here, you have to use ladies. Let me tell you how. If there is a person like Sunita ji in your team, so they will know how to emotionally blackmail the builder. They will give an example कि देखो भाई साहब, जेंट्स लोग घर में नहीं रहते, घर में तो हम रहते हैं. हमको बाथरूम में जो बाथरूम का जगह है उसके ऊपर स्टोरेज के लिए जगह चाहिए. The idea behind is it a 6 feet height minimum is required for any person to go in bathroom, something more than 6 feet. And above that we want a storage height so that at least we can sit and do it. So at least you get a decent height of 10.5 feet. So this is how you have to play your cards. Second thing, bluntly ask the builder, how much will be the maximum construction permissible? Because they try to misguide you in certain aspects. What is the maximum amount of construction that is permitted? That has to be specifically asked him, and there should be a clause in the agreement. Otis lift and Otis type lift makes a lot of difference. So you have to select a nice PMC, a PMC of repute, and not a PMC standing for Pura Malai Kamalo. Of course, this is being said in a sense of humor only. Another point which should be insisted and seen is don't trust builder. Today, if a builder tells you that मैंने वो building बनाया है, he may be a contractor of that building, doing a small patchwork. Please make it a point to go and visit that building and link his sale rights to the building completion certificate, come what may, including your secretary, your committee. Invariably, they are bought. You take it from me that in many cases, they are refined estate agents. And there are instances where after buildings redevelopment, secretaries and office bearers have enhanced their area, taken up bigger flats. These things are quite possible. Go for a quality builder who knows the importance and respects the customer, and his past track record plays a vital role. Please look at his past track record. These are just a few of the points.
Thank you so much, sir. Going ahead with the same points, then what do you suggest, sir? Whether the society should again fall back on the redevelopment part of it, or try to explore the possibilities of self-redevelopment?
First and foremost, you should actually find out whether there is a need of redevelopment in the building. Only if your building is old, then only you should think of redevelopment. Today morning only I was discussing this point with Advocate Belose. Don't go for the name of it. If your building is 20, 25 years old, there is no need to go for redevelopment. Secondly, most important thing is, after redevelopment, are you able to get some lucrative benefits, or it's just for the sake of it? The quality of constructions today you are having. Now coming to the specific point of redevelopment or self-development, this by and large depends on the terms of type of members, but 95% of the cases, people don't trust their neighbors, particularly the office bearers. And when there's a friction, after putting up efforts, a lot of things hurts. It is always better to go with branded people. Don't just get impressed by a small percentage extra being offered by a newcomer. See his track record. See his delivery commitments. There are builders, humorously speaking, builder यानी क्या? बिल का डर नहीं है. Buyback यानी मेरे से buy करो, मेरा back ही देखना है. 24 घंटा पानी नल में से मिलेगा या दीवार में से मिलेगा. बिल्डर की सही पहचान माप में ही पाप है. कारपेट एरिया, बिल्टअप एरिया, सुपर बिल्टअप डिलक्स, सेलेबल. आपका 500 स्क्वायर फीट को कैसे 1000 बनाना, वो बिल्डर से ही सीख सकते हैं.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Again, due to time constraint, I'll just cut this short. I'll just go one step backwards now. We were talking about development and self-development, redevelopment, all those things. But there is a very important aspect before we actually start this process. That is the conveyance part. If the land is not conveyed, land and building both should be conveyed, right? So if that is not conveyed, then probably we are not going in the right track. हम लोग क्या करते हैं? Probably what we appoint a builder first, और बाद में बोलते हैं कि builder सब कर लेगा. Conveyance भी लाएगा, OC नहीं है, OC भी करेगा, conveyance, everything the builder will take care. फिर हमको बताओ कि आप कितने हमको percentage extra देने वाले हो, ये सब. So according to me personally, I feel this is not the right procedure. I think Mr. Sampath would be the right person to explain this aspect. And also the aspect about what conveyance is and how, whether it is required, necessary, how to get it and all those things, because we are running short of time, sir.
Yeah. Basically, I'll first talk of conveyance. MoFA Act has been introduced to protect the interest of the flat purchasers. Section 11 of MoFA talks of promoter to convey title, etc. Unfortunately, this word etc. is not understood and appreciated by a majority of the people. In my career, I have never given importance to conveyance. When a client comes to me, a society comes to me, I say, what is there in conveyance? Why are you looking at conveyance? It is a byproduct. You require property card bill and water bill transferred in your name. This will come only after the property card is transferred in your name. Property card will only be executed if the property is conveyed in your name. Property will only be conveyed if proper stamp duty has been paid, documents are registered. Friends, you will be shocked to know that there is no provision in any law which requires the signature of the purchaser or the cooperative society to execute the conveyance. Many of you will not believe my statement. Supreme Court has specifically mentioned in their judgments, under the Transfer of Property Act, it is the seller's responsibility to get the property conveyed. Of course, as a society, you may support that stand, no issues on that. But prima facie, there is no responsibility on the society to sign the conveyance deed. Conveyance, you can execute it through deemed conveyance, city civil court, or you can go through City Civil Court, High Court, or you can go through consumer courts. If you personally ask me, I have always taken the stand, deemed conveyance is doomed conveyance, dead conveyance. for the simple reason that you don't get building completion certificate. You don't get original documents of the title to the property. You don't get audited statement of accounts. At the end of the day, you are traveling in a train, which after a few destinations, you have to change and take another train. Because once you under deemed conveyance, you go submit a few papers. The registrar calls, the district deputy registrar will call the opposite party owners. And after that, he will issue a certificate. With that certificate, you have to go to the sub-registrar place, get all the stamp duty paid. After that, again, you have to go and follow it up with the city survey office. But if you go to National Commission, because recent judgments have come, if the market value of the property is more than 1 crore, jurisdiction is of National Commission. Obviously, 2-3 flats also in Bombay may cost more than 1 crore. So straightway, you put all these prayers in one case. Building completion certificate, original documents of title to the property, property card, property tax bill, water bill, conveyance, anything and everything, plus a hefty compensation. And there are ample instances where you are getting. Let me share with you, I have got conveyance in 128 days through Consumer Forum. That is, I am told, one of the fastest judgments. We have got more than 30 lakhs as compensation from the courts, consumer courts. So if you ask me personally, if you give a pause to redevelopment for 1 or 2 or 3 years, the best opinion in my view would be to go to the National Commission and file a criminal case against the builder for cheating, criminal breach of trust, criminal misappropriation of property. As we used to read in our college days or school days, there was a novels coming of James Hadley Chase, and one of the books was Fear is the Key. Fear is the key which opens the locks and wallets of all the rich men. So similarly, if you are able to track the builder in criminal cases and National Commission, you can get wonderful results. I have seen so many cases getting settled in the first 2-3 hearings because the quantum of punishment that builder can face is superb in National Commission. One tip to you is if you are going under construction or something, always make PMC a party and say, you cannot change the plan without my permission. That itself will tame the builder considerably. There is no hesitation on this point of view as far as my view is concerned. Simultaneously, if you want to do some good research, catch hold of expert lawyers like Bellose and dig on the ULC aspect. What happens is, we only talk in terms of mere ko kya. But let's go in the flashback, where builders have given certain undertaking to the government under the Urban Land Ceiling Act, and they have to form a cooperative society and convey the property. This they are not doing. Because of our ignorance, we are not able to appreciate these type of things, which are very, very important. Section 11 says, promoter to convey title, etc. Very rarely you will come across the word etc. in any definitions of a section. So please exploit this particular definition, and you can also tap RERA for certain things. Of course, I can go on, but I want to keep a possible.
If the builder is out of business or if he is dead, then how we will proceed, sir?
Yeah, very good question. What happens is, builder may have expired, but his assets are taken over by the legal heirs. हिंदू धर्म में कहा गया है कि बाप का प्रायश्चित बेटे को करना पड़ता है. उसी तरह से if the son has acquired some right of the father in the assets, then he is liable for all the liabilities also. If a builder has expired and his sons have taken over some assets, we can recover from him. There is no problem. Simultaneously, what we do is we look at the builder as Mr. A. But normally from tax planning point of view, there are a multiple group of persons, partnership firm or directors. If it is a partnership firm, it is an unlimited liability. Secondly, once an order is coming and if the order is not being implemented, we have 2 sections in consumer, section 25 and section 27. 25 is a civil route whereby you get the compensation ordered by the court. And under 27, section 27, the builder can be prosecuted. the provisions of the criminal procedure code are applicable and he can be sentenced to jail. And there recently this trend has started in consumer court. They just call the builder, say next time you get this thing done, 2 months time given. And if in 2 months time not given, they just tell this thing, arrest him and put in BM bars. This is happening and quite a few builders have faced this thing and now the things are improving at consumer.
Thank you, sir. Our time is over. And builder's entire family is expired.
Legal has, that property, supposing I have a flat, I may expire, but my son may expire, but that flat will go to some of my legal relative. So whosoever may be the relative who has acquired that rights of the builder, he will go. And there is no solution to all the 100 problems. If we are able to solve 80 problems, we should be happy.
What happens when the builder is in jail?
Pardon?
Builder is in jail.
So that's what I said, that see, there are two solutions. You may not get the thing if the builder does not like it. Nangai ko maar ke bhi mare milega kya, nichodega kya hai? At the end of the day, if there are available resources, we can put pressure, get the thing. As I was telling you just 2 minutes ago, if a particular solution is given out of 100, 80 is giving, we are getting, we should be happy. There are so many paper tigers, paper decrees which cannot be implemented. Look at Vijay Mallya, Lalit Modi, etc. Any court may pass any order, but what will be the value of the order if it cannot be implemented? So these things are a part of life. We have to accept it. I agree with you, but let me tell you, RERA has tamed the builders considerably and it is on a positive side. It is a new baby. It is what you say, I agree with you 100%. Many are not, specifically Maharashtra is good, Bombay is good, but we go to interiors, they are not registering. Believe me, you lodge complaints. I will suggest to you that if you come across something, first make a marketing call to the builder. Let me share with you one or two more things because this will definitely help you. Whenever you go to a builder's office for any purchase or anything, take one female member along with you. That female member's role is limited. She has not to speak anything, whether your wife, your sister. Whatever talks are being done, she is given the role of recording that thing. So that tomorrow that black-white component or other things are there, commitments being made, this will be very, very helpful to you. Please make it a point that when you are going to a builder's office, have someone record everything. This will help you luckily. Sometimes we may speak, that also is recorded here, that thing. But if you are speaking truth, you have nothing to worry because in the middle of the night you sing like a parrot, you don't require any planning.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. We gathered very informative knowledge. Thank you, all panelists.